This is part of a series of shows I like to call the Moneyball series. Part one, basically the setup. Part two, I gave you an overview of what I do. Now, part three, we're going to dive a bit deeper. We're going to start taking a look at me getting ready for a game. And we've got quite a big game coming up. It's a match against Inter Milan. 4 wins in a row. Is it too early for us to start analyzing our data? I don't know. If I go to the data hub, we're doing quite well. In terms of expected goals, maybe we should be banging a few more goals, but our defense, our goals, we're keeping goals away, man. They're not finding it easy to score. And that's largely down to this guy. If you go to his play of performance, advanced goalkeeping, it just tells us a story here. He's absolutely outstanding at about 2.54 goals prevented. Right. So this is quite cool. This is extremely cool. It just means that he's phenomenal at the moment. So our goalkeeper is phenomenal, which explains why we've got clubs coming after him, right? So now we had Bayern Munich and Arsenal during the transfer window. They've stepped away. I'm going to do another show on Moneyball. It's going to talk about amortization transfer values, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it in conjunction with somebody else. But there is something that you need to do to maintain your transfer value of your players. So I'm going to show you how I do that. But that's going to be for another show. Looking at our results, we've done quite well. We've won the first 5 games. We even beat Spurs at home, and we beat Lazio only because the player whose name shall not be mentioned on this stream or this show, we'll not talk about him, he has retired. So without him, we can finally beat Lazio. We got Inter coming up, and generally what I like to do before matches is I have a view. This is called the squad assessment view. I like to check these out, okay? Because games, if I'm on a bad streak, then defenders who've got low game wins ratio, I'm going to keep an eye out on them. I might do a deep dive in their numbers. Here, in terms of goals conceded, we have Tobias is conceded like 0.21. I mean, Lorenzo Pirola has only played 1 game, so this is not really fair. Then we've got the other center back is Ramiro Hernandez, 0.25. I think we can do a bit better. I think this was largely down to the first game where I was playing with the wrong defensive line. I know in the future, probably for FM23, I'm probably not gonna have any of these stars here as well. On top of that, I'm probably gonna remove these stars as well. The scouting reports, I don't want to see the letters anymore because this is a very good indication of potential ability. If he's A, he's definitely 5 stars. If he's C, he's definitely 3 stars. Okay, there is no two ways about it. Okay, this is 100%. It ties very closely to your PA. So I definitely don't want to see that. Now, some people might go and say, you never know if a player can meet his PA, right? So, but I'm like, once you know the range, it kind of makes it a bit easier. So I want to remove that as well. Yeah, that means going to really hardcore territory. I'm not too sure whether I want to do that at the moment, but that's for FM23. Meanwhile, this is our search window, right? For player search, I've got another filter here. The filters are in the links below if you need to use them. Now, I've made one set available because I'm still working on the other metrics. I have metrics to calculate inside forwards, right? So what makes for a good inside forward, and that explains why we signed this player. Where we signed Leones. Now, Leones was added to the club because I wanted an inside forward to attack from the right. Now, he fit all the bills because his numbers were pretty outstanding, and I covered that on the last show. What we're going to do is now decide who's going to be playing in the match against Inter Milan. Now, it becomes a bit more harder now because, it's 100%. This is not easy. I mean, conceded 90 is also a bit difficult to tell. Normally, if I see I like to look at defenders, for example, right? Partnerships. So if I play Sebastian Anderson and Pirola together, it's not accurate because he's only played 1 game. This is a bit too much. If I decide, hey, he has to play because it's 0.00. I mean, that's not fair. Now, he plays with Ramiro Hernandez. Now, these two are pretty close. This was down 0.25. Was down to our first game of the season, which was a bit of a bad game for us. We won the game. However, I had to change my defensive line and line engagement after that game. And since then, we've maintained quite a few clean sheets. Here, in terms of the total goals per 90, this basically team goals per 90 just indicates generally when you have certain players on the pitch, you're more likely to score as a team, right? So, like players like Fatih Kanti, Tassisio, and Andy Horweda, they are very important to our attack. So these guys are normally always one of the first few names I put on the sheet. And then we've got Gutierrez. Now, Gutierrez got injured in the last game. Lazio match was terrible. Yes, we played against Lazio. We beat Lazio. He whose name shall not be mentioned has retired, so we are able to beat Lazio now. And Gutierrez got injured, so he's now wearing facial protection for the next. Rather, he's wearing some protection for the next game because I really still want him to play. I've given my boys rest after the last match because we've got aggressive. We were playing like something like 4 games in the next 11 days. So our preseason was very, 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 very intense. So this is how I decide, right? So at the moment, it's pretty easy for me to make a decision. We play well. We're waiting for the shoe to fall off the other foot before we start doing deeper analysis. But what I like to do at this point is, what do we do, right? Do I export these numbers out? I mean, if I wanted to, I could export it to my Excel spreadsheet, but it's still a bit early. We'll do that after 10 games. Now, we signed Leones for one specific purpose. I needed a player that takes on defenses. So his dribbles per 90 had to be high and he needs to be tackled. So I like players who are tackled, right? Because it just shows that, they are a threat. They might have some pace in them. So he's played like 5 games already, or 4 games, or 3 games in this particular. So we've got, one of the things I like to do is I have this view, which is the data view for my players. I'm focusing on the new signing Leones now. He's played 5 games, and this is something I'm going to zoom in on. 3 dribbles per 90. One of the reasons why we signed him, he takes on defenses, he gets fouled in the process, and he can score when he gets inside the area. It's what I wanted in an inside forward. The numbers are nice, and he's doing just that. So it means that we are extracting the best out of him so far. And then I'm also looking at our defenders. Now, our defenders, we got Tobias Augustin Anderson. Now, these are the metrics that we have. Headers won percentage is about 85%, and his interceptions per 90 is 6.26. Now, there is a way for you to go and put all this data into a spreadsheet again by going to player search. Now, if you go to player search, and if you wanted to do a really analytical look at the whole league and how your players are doing, it is not difficult to do this. All you got to do is go to the edit search, right? And then uncheck all this. But what you do is you set up your players for Serie A only, right? So you filter all the players in the Serie A, and if filter the rest out. So you forget all the other leagues, and then you just remove the positions so they include all the positions, and then you do the spreadsheet again. And if you just want to look at defenders to compare him to the other defenders, that's exactly what we can do. So that's what I'm about to do right now. So we're gonna do appearances about 3. We don't want to talk about the average ratings. So let's go and all the Serie A players. We'll just uncheck all this, and then we'll just look at all defenders. So now we got all the defenders here, including, of course, you have to make sure that you include your players. So if you've got our players included, we'll just add this to about 45. I don't know how old is the oldest defender in the Serie A, and these are all our defenders. So if I'm looking at interceptions per 90, and I do this, Tobias Augustin Anderson is the number in terms of interceptions right now in Serie A. He is leading the league. So this is something I'm very excited. He's ahead of other defenders like Simaka, Pellegrini, and this is our defender, Ramiro Hernandez. And in terms of headers won per 90, that's our defender right now. He wins the most headers. And then if you're looking at headers won percentage, not these guys, these are different players. Of course, then we've got clearances, the defenders that actually bring the ball out of defense more effectively. We got Petko, Histroff, Metis Delight, and Ramiro Hernandez, and Tobias Augustin Anderson. So in terms of my defensive actions, I'm actually kind of happy with my players. I think that they are performing really well. And you can do the same thing with your own team. You can identify players within your own team and see how they stack up against the rest of the league. I mean, I could do this with my midfield as well to find out which of my midfielders is playing well compared to the other players in the league. But once again, you have to understand the metrics you're looking at. So these are all my defensive actions, and these are my creative actions, and these are my scoring actions. So I tend to look at them as a group, and then after that, and if I want to, I'll just export all this data into my Excel spreadsheet. It just makes things a bit funky. I mean,
just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Look, I tried my best to stay away from the Excel spreadsheet, but once I started, it became really addictive. Because now, you're just looking at your players and going, wow, they're doing so well. I can't believe what I've done to myself. But it's still a bit early in the season. What we want to do is we want to get out there. We want to get ready for this game against Inter Milan. So we've got them playing a pressing forward, inside. This is dangerous. They've got pace. They got a deep line playmaker and a ball-winning midfielder. This is interesting. Barella is still playing. And they got a complete wingback who's going to roam. Ball-playing defender who's going to bring the ball out. And this is interesting. They've got a no-nonsense central defender who's going to hoof the ball out from the back. They got Kalulu who's playing as a wingback. So they're going to have some space either side of their defense. But I mean, this is going to be a pretty even game between the two of us. So far, we haven't had any injuries due to match preparation activities, in case some of you are wondering. So we've got quite a few interesting games. Inter versus Palermo, Milan playing Fiorentina. This is going to be huge. And then we've got Lazio playing Genoa. Genoa has become quite the force in recent seasons. Let's just be realistic. I've not beaten them. We did just beat them in a friendly 2-0, but I expect them to come out for revenge. On top of that, I just did this nice little opener where I talked about my defenders, and in the process, I bet you I've jinxed ourselves. Yes, I should know better, but I didn't learn from my previous mistakes. I mean, I've been looking at my team right now. This is what I see. I mean, it's 100%. Doesn't really give me a lot of information because we haven't lost games yet. Now let's look at our defenders, right? 6.976. His average, he's actually not playing as well. So this is dangerous. I usually think that this is a sign that, you should always aim for this number to be high the last 5 games. Our Celia is playing okay. Tobias, 7.7, meeting expect. Ramiro also falling off a bit. Pirola, 6.95. Okay. Chico, the danger is this guy. I might want to play Chico in this game. So the situation, we've got our players. We gotta go into our tactics. Next match, I know these guys got very good jumping range. The question is, do I play it the same way? Because I don't really have another right. I can put Casede here, play him here, and then go for Christian Kouan in the center. Then what we'll do is for this game, we'll play him as a fullback on attack. This is an inverted wingback. He's 6.97, 3 games, right? So, okay. And Chico is at 2 games, 7.05. Okay, we're gonna play Chico. We're gonna take a chance, man. We're gonna put Chico on the pitch. Okay, so the start could be very important. And we're gonna turn him into a kind of he's a pressing forward. He's gonna put pressure on defenses, but this is what we don't want to do. Okay, we want to keep the ball, play set up for set pieces. We're taking the game to them. Yep, we could get into trouble, but hey, man. We never know, right? You never know till you try. Because Inter Milan, they probably look at us and they go like, hey, it's only Palermo. Let's look at the opposition instructions. Barella should be hard tackled. Yep, that's true. We're going to hard tackle you, and then we're going to time mark you. All right, so we've got all this set up. Okay, we're gonna play aggressively. Hopefully it pays off. So Agustin Anderson has the ball. Leones couldn't get the header, so big deal. I thought he'd be the right player for the job. Inside the area, okay, we're changing his role. All right, maybe you shouldn't be playing like this. You should be playing like this. Okay, go. Okay, Casede, if push comes to shove, Leones, we take off Gutierrez because he's carrying a knock. What a save from BK Ethan. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Come on, boys. Demand more from our team. Good header from Hernandez. This is them attacking us all the way, man. Barella tried to get a long shot away, but it was blocked. Casede, Kouan, Tarcisio, Celia, Chico. Okay, we got Hernandez on the ball. Finds Chico, Tarcisio, out to Christian Kouan, gets it to Celia, finds Gutierrez. Leon Ness does well and tries. Okay, maybe his passing and his decision making is not that good. We don't know his attributes, man. I have no clue. I'm like, okay, Fatih Kanti is down. Come on, stop the play, man. Put it out. Hey, my legend is on the ground, man. Come on. Great stop from Leones does brilliantly. Come on, Leo. Fatih Kanti. That's it. We got to take him out. Okay, so Kwan comes here. Kasede comes here. Leones comes here. Rodriguez has to be on the pitch. Okay, we got to make a quick changes. If Fatih Kanti is injured, we are in trouble. We might not have many defenders left. Or rather, might not have many midfielders left. Leones takes it on, takes them all on. Come on. Finds Christian Kwan. Christian Kwan checks it back for Tarcisio. He's got the attention of a player. Leones chips it for Gutierrez. Oh, the idea was there. Oh! Mistake from their keeper has led Rodriguez in. It's 1-0 to the Sicilians. Okay, great. The pressure was high. Barella back to Moise Keane. The pressing, aggressive, and then I don't know what the keeper is doing. The keeper just gave us the ball. Thank you. We need a win, but he didn't have to go that far. Okay. Right. Okay, we've got inverted wing back, Celia Gutierrez. Okay, now I'm worried about this player and I'm worried about this player. We're gonna have to try and push them for as long as we can. Okay, PK Ethan, this win is gonna be important for us. It's a statement win. Come on, Hernandez, don't do that. Rui Gabriel is offside. He's offside. Come on, he's offside. Please be offside. No. PK Ethan straight to far is not offside. What a defensive. This is terrible. Okay. Two fantastic, unbelievable errors with the goalkeepers. Okay, we're going to have to take off Chico. I'm not risking him. Okay, so we're going to bring on Bova for Chico. Gutierrez as well. I mean, like, we've already lost one of them. I can't afford to lose two of them. David Palmer will come on the other side. Okay. I can't afford to lose my top players. Okay, Cassedia, that's the amount of substitutions we have. Inter 1, Palermo 1. Can we keep this up? We are drawing yellow cards everywhere. It's going to be a big point for us. We don't deserve this point. We don't deserve this point at all. Oh my Lord. Now let's find out how many injuries we have and how many players are visiting the physiotherapist. This is a big scoreline, but Milan's still on a streak. Okay. Fatih Kanti, how long? 1 to 3 days. That's not too bad. 5 unbeaten. Zebra. Okay. Juventus' unbeaten run. All right, so we didn't do too badly. We still got a few players injured. What I'm gonna do right now is go to the squad. There's some players I reckon I'm gonna give everybody 1 day rest after this. Yeah, it's a tough week. I kind of like to have something to assess my team by. So how do I assess my team? Two things. We've got streaks here. Average rating last 5 games. This is like a streak, right? If you play them long enough, you should be able to spot that streak. So most of my players, we've only just started playing a few games, so this is a bit too early in the season to tell. And just like these numbers are a bit too early to tell. I wait for the 10-game mark, and then I'll export all this data, and I'll start looking at my numbers, and I'll compare them to last season. Today's show was meant to give you an idea of how I would go into the game, use some of the statistics. Now, naturally, it's still early. I'll do one more of these kind of shows when we reach like the midway point of the season, where we start analyzing our plays in a bit more depth. And I'll also be focusing on transfer value amortization. Essentially, what this means is you don't want your players' values to drop too much, especially I've got some big value players right now in the club. So what I want to do is I want to maintain their value. Now, there's lots of things or factors that go into the transfer value of a player. But if you're not careful, what you end up doing is you end up knocking off their value if you don't find the right time to extend their contract. So I'm going to cover that on a future show. I hope you found today's show useful. And if you have any questions, you guys know where to find me. Please stay safe. Take care of each other. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.